Hi, I'm Dr. Crystal Collier. I study how to strengthen your brain skills, and today we're talking about one of my favorites, abstract reasoning, a higher level executive functioning skill that allows us to think in more creative, divergent, flexible, and mature ways. It helps us grow our critical thinking skills and reduce thinking errors. This skill starts really coming online during the second stage of brain development, around 11 or 12. Abstract reasoning is also called conceptual understanding because it gives us the ability to move from concrete thinking, which allows us to understand things we can see, feel, or touch with our five senses, to a deeper level of thinking about concepts, ideas, symbols, or thoughts. Even though concrete thinking is a simple way to understand things, it's important because it's our brain's first step in understanding through what we observe and experience. But it could lead to thinking errors if we don't grow our skills. For example, we learn very early on that just because we can't see something anymore doesn't mean that it's not there. If we continue to use concrete thinking, we might make a thinking error by believing that we have to actually see something with our own eyes to trust that it's there. We get pretty upset when we make concrete thinking errors, but unfortunately, it's in our human nature. A long time ago, people thought if you were sick, it must be something inside of you, so they drained all your blood. Just because cocaine had a numbing effect, they gave it for toothaches. Come to realize it's a very harmful addictive substance. And if you had a problem with alcohol, they tell you to drink more. What? Thank goodness our critical thinking skills have grown. Okay, that's better. Besides seeing the bigger picture in solving problems like those, can you think of other advantages to thinking so deeply? Abstract or conceptual reasoning allows us to see and understand the bigger picture, instead of just looking at the simple concrete view. For example, seeing the woman, her dress, and the fire, all things we notice with our five senses, misses the deeper symbolic point of the Statue of Liberty. Many children know that the Statue of Liberty is important and may be able to recite a concrete fact or two about how or when it was built. But kids who practice abstract thinking understand that the Statue of Liberty is a globally recognized symbol of freedom, justice, and liberty. Abstract conceptual reasoning gives us the ability to see the bigger picture and understand that just because something seems like a good idea at first, we should strive to critically understand all the effects and meanings, like how medicine and drugs can help us and hurt us. My favorite benefit of thinking abstractly is how many different ways you can see everything all around you. This is called perspective taking, and it really boosts your thinking skills. Concrete thinkers tend to have more rigid, less flexible black and white thinking and rely on things they can see and hear. This can limit their choices and viewpoints. Abstract conceptual thinkers develop critical thinking skills and creativity, which increases their ability to see other perspectives, leading to an increased ability to imagine what others are thinking and feeling. And this improved empathy leads to healthier relationships. This makes a pretty good case for developing this skill, but it's critical to remember that all executive functioning skills grow according to the brain's rule. Use it or lose it. We won't form those thick networks for abstract reasoning unless we practice them, especially while our brain is developing. In this brain study, researchers tracked adolescents for 5 years into young adulthood and found that how much they practiced abstract reasoning predicted how their brain grew and coordinated networks, which predicted how satisfied they were with themselves and others. This means that young people who practice abstract thinking skills develop a strong identity. They have better personal mental health and social well-being. They can make decisions based on logic and their own values instead of just blindly going along with what other people are doing. So let's practice. You see someone being mean and excluding another. A concrete thinker may see the situation and think, not my problem, too bad for him. But a critical thinker may use abstract reasoning and think that people deserve kindness, take the victim's perspective, imagine what they're feeling, and take action. How about this scenario? At a party, a friend you admire offers you alcohol. A concrete thinker may believe that they have to go along to fit in. But using abstract reasoning, you may think that fitting in is about being accepted for who you are, not what you're doing, and then pass on their offer in order to protect your neurodevelopment. What about when you see someone who's different from you and think, they're wrong or weird? This simple, concrete way of thinking may lead to fear, gossiping, and being mean. But using higher level abstract reasoning allows you to see differences as symbols of the wide variety of humans that are in the world, leading to excitement and curiosity about all the new ideas and opportunities to learn and befriend a lot of different kinds of people. So you may be wondering, how can I think more abstractly? To grow your abstract reasoning skills, stimulate your imagination through dramatic play and writing. Use symbols to represent things and entertain ideas. When reading books or doing science experiments, try to predict what will happen before or after the story ends. Notice patterns in the way people think and what they do. Analyze and solve problems. Form theories and practice seeing things from other perspectives. Because when we just use concrete thinking, we run the risk of making quick judgments about what we think is true, like deciding that the orange dot is changing size. If we pause and really examine the bigger picture, we realize that we made a thinking error, and the orange dot doesn't change its size at all. It's kind of symbolic of how we change our perspectives depending on who we hang out with. Can using abstract reasoning be bad? Yes, when we use negative, distorted ways of thinking called catastrophizing. That happens when we worry too much about something we care about and can imagine all the worst-case scenarios. This can increase our anxiety and depression, so we need our concrete strategy to list and practice the steps that we'll take to cope, just in case something bad happens. So keep practicing your abstract reasoning, sharpen your critical thinking, and be true to yourself, even when you want to fit in, to keep your brain strong and growing your skills.